Hi there, welcome to the Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Doveston, and it is wonderful that you are here with me for yet another weekly Ching forecast. This time for the week commencing the 22nd of June 2026. Every week we look back to the week that was. How was the Ching energy helping to bring insight and wisdom and clarity and movement forward? We had that hexagram 39 obstruction, the big rock in the path, the big boulder stopping us from moving forward, limping, obstruction, halting, being cut off, really things coming to a stop, trying to find a way around the boulder. So we focused last week on finding creative solutions around the obstructions we face, enabling helpers, getting people to help us and work with us to find creative solutions around the things that are in our path. Plus, we worked with that changing line that said specifically, there's something here where you mustn't rush out to try and smite the obstacle. You need to just stay at home, look after your kin, stay in your home base, and it will resolve itself in time. And that second hexagram, hexagram 8, holding together, grouping, who we are grouped with, who do we associate with, who do we lead, who are we led by, how are we connected to each other, and are we all fulfilling the roles of the group that are required? Now, I got a great question from last week's episode. What happens if you get this hexagram, like hexagram 39, obstruction, and then you get this image with that is an obstacle, find creative ways around it, and then you get a changing line that says, don't rush out to the external world and fight the obstacle, go back to your home. Seemingly conflicting advice. Okay, so the way that I understand this is that the hexagram gives us an overall context, the types of energies we're coming across, the types of lessons we're having to learn. Obstruction. What do we do when we hit obstruction? A broad lesson for us to apply to the week, to what is happening around us. Very often that little changing line comes in as a very specific thing. It might be a particular issue, it might be one of the obstructions you're facing, or it might be something deeper for us to pay attention to. So on the surface, they do look like conflicting ideas, but actually when you look at one is on a detail, one's on a specific, and one's on a more holistic level, it might help to remedy the confusion. And of course, if there's a way that you've worked with it and you've seen and provided insight to your own life through working with that, please do share a comment. Okay, this week, what are we working with? Well, it is a locked hexagram. That means when I cast the coins to the question, what should we focus on this week? No changing lines. Okay, so it gives us a very fixed and focused landscape of what our week is needing attention or focus upon. I like to always think about this idea with a locked hexagram, it's a doubling down. Okay, it's not all kinds of pops of change and dynamic energy. We're really being focused on a very important thing that we need to pay attention to. Almost as if all the noise of the changing lines, okay, all the kind of little details of the week calm down and we are given a single focus point. There are, of course, lots of ways of thinking about a locked hexagram and what it might mean, but in my mind, that makes sense. Okay, so locked hexagram. We have hexagram 28, great pressure. Okay, luckily it's not a monthly, it's only a weekly. Okay, this image of the hexagram tells us so much about what's going on here. We have a yin female line right at the top, and we have a yin female line right at the bottom. And then through the middle, we have 4 of these male lines, this energy, this creative impulse, this dynamic energy pumping through. Okay, what that does, it creates a sagging heaviness of intensity in the middle, right? It creates pressure, okay? And these 2 little lines on either side are just not up to the job of handling the pressure. So I think of this hexagram in many different ways. One way is thinking of it as a fireman with a fire hose, okay, and there is a huge amount of attention that is required in focusing this energy, okay, the stress and this pressure of trying to direct this force of the water. But another powerful way of understanding it is through what happens to make a diamond. Diamonds in the rough. Okay, we are all diamonds in the rough, and we are fashioned through great stresses in the earth, turning the coal, transforming it into, metamorphosizing it into a diamond, this hard, beautiful, perfect thing that can be polished and faceted, and it can reflect the light from all different directions. It is a powerful analogy for us to think about. And this week, we are all becoming better diamonds in the rough. Okay, so let us work with becoming the best diamond we can be. And this hexagram is all about how we deal with stress. Stress comes to greet us. And why does stress come to greet us? Because we are doing something new. There's new energy, there's new vitality, there's new beginnings. Something is welling up from the quantum soup, a new beginning. All right, the inside, the nuclear hexagram of this one is number one, the creative. Something new is welling up. Okay, and so that creates a huge amount of pressure. There's a good chance you're going to face considerable stress this week. And what this hexagram says is that when we are under pressure, what's really important is our scaffolding, our structure, all right, the thing that holds our life together. You know and should be able to answer the question, how do you respond under pressure? What is your go-to of when you are stressed? What do you do? Do you reach for positive things to help manage your stress, or do you reach for negative things to manage your stress? I feel like we're all going to be tested on this week. What we have to do is we have to shore up the structure, because the bottom line and the top line are just not able to hold or contain this. And those four lines in the middle are like, yay, let's pump this creative energy. So what we're needing to do is we're needing to create the scaffolding, all right? Create the structure, stabilize the structure, and put down anything that is not critical. Okay. You know that definition of the difference between urgent and important? Okay. There's some decisions we need to make this week on prioritizing what we can do and what we can't do. And this week is saying we are ready. That force of that energy pumping down upon us is very strong. So we need to be very clear how we say yes to things, how we show up in the week, how we think about what's already on the plate, and we shore up, okay, that scaffolding, right, and the structure that gives us a sense of balance and togetherness and peace. We all have a job to do this week in looking after not just our physical selves, but our emotional, mental, spiritual selves, making sure that scaffolding is nice and strong, and really getting to grips with our response to stress. Okay, what happens in our body, what happens in our emotional body, our mental body. When we were under the pump, what do we do? And there seems to be that in this week, as we face the pressure, right, as we go through the eye of the needle, because we are doing something that is different and unique and energetic and full of wonderful creative energy. We land up in this place with this hexagram because we're trying something new, and that's wonderful. What we have to do is prioritize, put down what's not essential, shore up the scaffolding, put in place the structures to support us. For example, you could do something simple like just make sure the whole week you get really good sleep. What are those scaffolding things that in your life help you stick yourself back together when you are feeling very, very stressed? And perhaps all that happens this week is that the energy starts pumping and building up, okay? The new thing that you're doing is putting you under pressure, and you lean into it, okay? And you expand your energy into it, and you just go for it. There's a powerful line with this hexagram that really has helped me. Many times this hexagram has come up for me, and it's a little line that says, do not be afraid to stand alone. And it's almost as if this hexagram is also calling us to courage and a trust in our conviction, in our path, and calling us to stand up straight and breathe in deeply and be willing, being not afraid, to walk the path that is needed this week. Put your head up, suck in your courage into your marrow and do. That is the task. And if we just bear in mind that there are things that we can do, positive things that we can do to provide support to us, whether that is reaching out for helpers, delegation, crossing things off the list that were not important, finding ways of putting down things that are not important this week, that you can focus on doing well the things that are. This is the power of this hexagram. Well, locked hexagram, what more can I say? We are going to be under pressure. I hear that song. We are under pressure. That's our theme song for this week. And we're going to do it. And we're going to be courageous. And we're willing to walk alone, walk into the fire, because we have asked for new energy. We have put our hand up to do something new, to explore, to expand, to reach out beyond the world we know, to push our boundaries, to push the envelope. Whatever it is that we've been doing this week, okay, the chickens come home to roost because there's some pressure at the back of this. And we have got to step into it and lean into it with courage. And then next week, the energy is different and we move into a different cycle. But for now, we are diamonds in the rough. And every day that goes past with the week to come, we get stronger, more clear, more faceted, more pure, more focused, and more strength to do even more, because we can. Thank you so much for being here with me for this episode. If this was valuable to you, as always, a thumbs up, a like would be fantastic. And if you are new to the channel or to the podcast, hit the subscribe button or the follow button. And I look forward to seeing you again soon for our last I Ching forecast for June. Can you believe it? Before we start whipping through into July. Thank you so much and take care.